Yeah, I'll be there tomorrow. I leave Saturday and go down to LA.
Oh, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Diplo's Run Club.
So wait a minute. See, I'm confused about because I thought you just skated. Like I was like, oh, he's going to like X Games or something.
No, no. I'm a professional skateboarder, but I also I'm a certified coach as well.
A
Like I've been
skateboard coach.
no like strength and conditioning.
Oh, right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Okay, yeah,
So
I did know that.
I've been doing that for like maybe 6 years, like officially. So I work with Ladder, which is like an online app, and I have a bunch of people I train.
And they don't all live here.
No, they're all over the world. You
Oh
know,
wow.
yeah, yeah, because it's an app. So
Yeah, you can you have the app, and then you can choose who is your like instructor, and so you can choose his courses.
yeah, and I got into it from skating and
And they fly you places.
yeah. So like right now we're doing a partnership with Diplo's Run Club, where like we have an activation. We have like a bus there with some different kind of events for people to do at the Run Club.
Is that what he calls it? Diplo's Run Club.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like Diplo runs. It's like a 5K, and like thousands of people show up and they run with him. And then afterward, there's these activations and food trucks and stuff, and we're one of the activations there to like make things fun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we do like a pull-up challenge and like a dead hang challenge and just a bunch of fun things, and kind of like bring awareness of the app and all the coaches and stuff too.
You should talk him into doing an NADC at the next year's one.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm down. Totally. There was like this other burger spot that it wasn't really hitting for me, but maybe some people would have loved it. But we should definitely bring NADC.
Hell yeah. Are we rolling now?
Not a damn chance. Not a damn chance.
Yo, thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
Thanks,
Yeah.
brother.
We when we always talk about who we want to have on, we think about people who have like really had a journey from where they started to where they become, and we've known each other for a while now, but I've always found sort of like the peripheral story that I know of you of like you're a veteran, you worked your way just like all the way up, and now I mean you're touring, I mean you have Netflix, everything. So would love to have a conversation about sort of like the rise, how it's going, where it started, and just kind of like really just hear about some of the things that you've been through, and specifically like I mean like so did you know like when did you know you wanted to get into comedy?
Oh shit. I mean, when I don't know I mean when I was in the service, I saw Dom Herrera. I ran into Dom Herrera at Hooters, and he gave us all tickets to his show. And that's when I was like, because that was my first time seeing stand up live.
Yeah.
And that's a whole different thing. Like if the first time you see some stand up live and it's fucking good, it's like it's like live music. It's
Yeah.
like, it's a whole different effect on you than just making you laugh.
Yeah.
And so it really blew me the fuck away. And I was like, oh. And then all my friends was like encouraging, because before that, they had, people were trying to tell me I should try comedy or whatever. But after that, I was kind of discouraged at first, because I was like, well, there's no way I would ever be able to do what he just did. But my friends were like, oh no, dude, you gotta fucking give it a try. And that's when the notion first was in my head of like, boom. But I was still too scared. I was scared to be bad at it, And so on my last day in at my little going away thing, they had like a little mic set up, and they was like, go ahead, do your thing. I was like, fuck all of y'all. No,
you do it?
No. And that's when I realized, like, a lot of that Marine Corps bravado was false. I wasn't, I was strong, and and all of those things, but I wasn't me. I wasn't actually confident. I just learned how to act confident.
Mm-hmm.
And, because I realized, like, real confidence is not being afraid to fail,
Mm-hmm.
And then years later, after I'm out I'm out of the service, I've already like moved back home and then moved back to the West Coast. And I was going into this. I walked into this bar on my way home from school one day, and they had just finished up like this storytelling thing, and the same organization that put on the storytelling was like thinking about doing comedy, and so they were like, "We have a comedy show in like a few months," and so I got booked before I ever did any comedy.
Really?
Damn.
Yeah, and then
So you just tell them like, "Yo, I do comedy," or like,
no. Like I was just shooting the shit at the bar, and people were laughing, and they were like, "Yo, you funny? Are you a comedian?" Like, no. They were like, "Oh, what you thinking about?" I was like, "I was just thinking about it," and he was like, "Oh, we about to do it."
Crazy.
Wow.
Boom! It was one of them things.
You weren't even working on anything.
No. It was just one of those days I had where I just was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna do something that I don't normally do."
Yeah.
I think my friend calls it transcendentalism or whatever. Where you just go off the beaten path just once. And so I was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna go get a little," because I didn't used to really go get fucked up, especially at like local bars and stuff like that. So I just went in there and it just turned into that. And so, but I was still scared to be bad at it, so I just went to I just started hitting all of these open mics, and because I knew my friends and stuff would try to come, and
yeah,
Yeah.
How was the first one?
it was terrible.
Yeah.
No, the first mic,
Yeah.
it was bad because I didn't know at the time that like there's different type of open mics, and I just went to the first one that popped up in the search, but it turned out to be a musician's open mic. It was at this place called Lestat's. It's a coffee house, and I don't even know if it's still there, but it was named after like the vampire from Interview with the Vampire, because it was open 24/7. So they had a performance thing. Anyway, it was for musicians, and I didn't know that. It was technically for everybody.
Yeah.
Like according to the building, it was.
But
for
everyone
everybody.
brought their guitars.
But it was for musicians.
Yeah.
And so they hated when comedians came there, and I didn't know that. And so I'm up there telling I'd already written this joke like a year before, and I'm up there telling this joke, and there was probably 40 people in the room, and everything I said, only 2 people laughed. Everybody else acted like I wasn't even there, and I didn't understand. I was like, oh damn, like I thought this was funny. And then when I got off stage, those 2 people, and I can don't remember their names. I remember the girl was beautiful. It was a girl and a guy, and they walked outside with me and we smoked some weed, and they were like, "Nah, bro, you funny. You just in the wrong place." Like all these dudes, they just waiting for their turn. They don't give a fuck about what you're saying. So then that encouraged me, because I was gonna stop right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but then that encouraged me to try somewhere else, and I tried it somewhere else.
Oh, really? So you were like, "Fuck this!" Like,
oh yeah, I was like, well, you gave it a shot.
Yeah.
That was terrible, and
We'll move on.
go back to school.
so had those 2 people not walked up to you, you think you would have just done your life would have been completely different?
Definitely,
Wow.
I would not have done it again.
It's such an interesting thing to look at, like those sort of like branches, right? Those sort of forks in the road in life, where it's like you wouldn't be living in Austin, we wouldn't know each other. All the things that have happened in your life would not have happened had those people not come and got your attention and said that thing to you.
Yeah, for sure.
It's insane.
There's that little bit of extra. And then what's funny is, and then I went somewhere that was the complete opposite. It was this place called Queen Bee's. I don't even know if it's still there. But they ran an open mic, but it was literally a mixed open mic. Like you could see anything there, and it was run by this poet named Gil Sotu. And that was the complete opposite. Like if it was your first time there, people weren't allowed to boo you. And in fact, like it would be like if you, because it was a lot of people's first time. But if it was your first time and you stumbled or stuttered or whatever, everybody would start clapping and go, "This is his first time. We got you." And it was like all this encouragement. I know, bro. And I don't know if I needed that, but it definitely helped.
Yeah.
And I went there, and what's so funny is a lot of comics didn't go there because it cost $5.
Yeah.
Yeah, you either had to pay $5 or you had to help set up. Like you had to help put up the chairs and all of that stuff, or it was $5.
Well, you get that support, man. That support system.
Well, yeah,
It's worth $5 to get everybody clapping for you.
I mean, yeah. Oh, but I mean, I ain't pay $5. I just helped set up the chairs.
Yeah, easy.
Even better.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that was cool. But then you start getting a little reputation. You start going to the little mics, and then And then I was on a show where they they have like a tip bucket at the end at the door, and 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 then they break everybody off, and I remember somebody gave me $20, and I was like, oh, $20. I was like, whoa. But then I saw the whoever ran the show, they probably took a couple $100, and I was like, well, shit, if I can get this up to a couple $100,
Yeah.
I could probably just do this. Man, boy, was I wrong about that. Like I was just wrong about how long that was gonna take. And, yeah, man. But then, I went. There was a club that just opened in San Diego, and at that same show, I heard that this club was opening, and I saw the guy that was opening it, and I just. And I jokingly was like, "Hey man, I'm a veteran and I'm black, so like you could knock out all your affirmative action, which is one hire, And I was just kidding, and then I walked in there on their first open mic, and he was like, "You still want to work here?" I was like, "Yeah." Boom, I started working there that day. Yeah, and so because I was there from the time they opened, it was like I got to learn so much and be around all of the people, and that guy was also a comedian, and a lot of people just gave me free game, and I was just there every day. I was there every day, all day, soaking up everything.
Did you have another job at the time, or you were surviving solely off the tips, or?
No, I was surviving off my GI Bill because I was in school, and then one summer, something happened with the school something happened with the schools where like they skipped the summer. Or whatever, like the school shut down for the summer. It was like a budgeting thing or something, and you don't get your GI Bill if you're not taking a class. So I just had to step the hustle up tenfold, and before you know it, it was like, oh, it doesn't make sense
to go back to school.
Yeah, I mean, because the mistake I made was I took a philosophy class, like basic logic, and it was actually philosophies of religion, but it starts out as basic logic, and you start like questioning your own ideas and stuff like that. And when you start applying that kind of shit to your life, it becomes harder and harder to lie to yourself. But if you just cut out your emotion and go all pure logic, it's hard for you to be like, why am I don't feel like you shouldn't take a philosophy class first, because you might be like, why am I in school?
Yeah, but isn't that, I mean, it's hard at first, but isn't that a good thing to like realize that like a lot of what you think is just a defense mechanism and isn't actually helpful?
Oh yeah. I mean, I think you can learn a lot about yourself when you objectively look at what you excuse from you. Like when you objectively look at the lies that you tell yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Be like, because you might say I'm tired, but then if you really being honest, you being lazy. You know what I mean? Or you might like. If you can catch yourself in a lie, because you're the easiest person to lie to. Yeah. Right? And if you can catch your own lies at least every now and then, I think your life will just get better. Yeah, I mean, that's really what it was. I had to stop lying to myself like, yo, you're avoiding this because you're scared. But the truth is, what made me actually, so I skipped over a whole part. What made me go walk into that bar and what made me say yes was I went to another comedy show with a girl in my class, and it was terrible. So and she was like, well, you better than at least like them first couple of people, right? And I'm like, yeah, I guess I can't be worse than that. So I think you also need that to achieve your dream. You need an inspiration, and then you need somebody that's terrible so you are less afraid. Yeah. So
something to build a little courage.
Yeah, you can do a lot out of spite and hubris, if you channel it correctly.
So how long were you doing these sort of open mics before you started to like feel like, oh wow, this is starting to like work for me?
Well, what do you mean by work for me?
Well, I mean, when you were like, so when you started it as something fun. You did you start this as like, I'm going to be?
No. It started out as just fun. I mean, I was probably doing it for like maybe 2.5, 3 years before I was like, okay, this is, I'm going all in on this. Yeah. Where it's like, no matter, like, I remember when people, because, San Diego's so close to LA, a lot of times people would come down for, do one-nighters or weekends or whatever. And I remember when I started featuring on the weekend, when I started being like the emergency feature, like if they didn't bring somebody or whatever, and I started featuring on the weekend, and headliners was telling me, "Oh, you got it, you gotta move up." Like DL Hughley headlined the weekend, and when it was over, he was like, "Hey man, you got it. Just keep doing what you're doing. Be cool. Be good to people on your way up." And that's when I was like, I'm all in. Yeah, because when one of the greats is telling you, you got it.
Yeah.
Even though it don't feel that way, it doesn't feel like you got it. Yeah, and you definitely don't got no money, right? But if one of the greats is telling you, and then other people just kept telling me, "Yo, you got it. You're fine. You got it. Keep doing it. Keep going. Keep going." And so I was like, I'm all in. Whatever it costs me, this is what I'm doing. And it also helped that, like, before all of this, I had good jobs. I was making good money when I got out the service, because I was a technician in the service. When I got out of the service, I worked at the Intel, the semiconductor manufacturer, and then I worked as a subcontractor at the Pentagon for Lockheed, and I was making good money, but I was miserable. Like it's not that I was miserable every day, but it just did. It wasn't fulfilling. You know what I'm saying? It didn't feel like I had a purpose. It felt like I could train like a not smart person to do my job.
It just felt sort of like a cog in someone else's wheel.
Yeah, like basically, like if I just didn't show up tomorrow, it's not like there wouldn't be anything that would fall apart. It would be like they would just find somebody. They would immediately find somebody else that could do this. I'm like, nothing's happening here because I'm here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I didn't know that that's what I needed, but I could feel that something was missing.
So did you keep the job and then do comedy like on the side until you finally were like, okay, I'm going to now quit the job?
No. That was before I ever even moved back to San Diego. That was, I got laid off from that job because they they re-upped the contract and they needed to cut people, and I was the newest person. And at least that's the reason that
you were given.
Yeah, but the truth is, I mean, I'm sure that was probably the main reason, but the truth is, I remember one time, because at that job there was a we were in like a giant office full of cubicles, and my boss sat behind me, and his boss sat behind him, and the big boss sat in the corner, and I remember I walked in I think the night before, I had just seen this Dane Cook joke. He's telling this joke about this dude getting hit by a car, right? Him like seeing a car accident, and I come in and I'm repeating it to everybody in the office, and I had completely forgotten that the big boss, his son had just died like that.
Oh no!
Yeah, and I'm sitting here, blah blah blah, and I get to the punchline, and everybody's laughing, and then slowly, one by one,
they realize
they stop laughing, and I'm like, and he and I look around, and he right here, and I didn't even like, once he was in my peripheral, I stopped turning my head, and he was like, he walked up, and he put his hand on my shoulder, he was like, it's okay, you didn't mean it. But I knew that's not what he meant. You know what I mean? But it was just nothing I left. I literally left. I just left for the day. I stayed away. I didn't go home, but it was, I had the kind of schedule where I showed up to work at noon, and everybody else had a regular schedule. Like, everybody else showed up from 9 to 5 or whatever the fuck. So I was always there 4 hours by myself after everybody left.
Yeah.
So I left the office until everybody left, and then came back.
So you think that played into when there obviously probably, it's true that there was a budget cut, but you think that weighed into who was going to get the axe?
No, there was definitely a budget cut. Like, all we knew was like there was contract negotiations, and we didn't even know if our company was going to keep the contract. And so then we found out the day before that we won the contract, and everybody celebrated, and we went out to dinner. And then the next day we found out, oh yeah, every department has to cut one person. So it was one of them things, and I'm not saying that's the reason I was the person.
No, but the dead son joke doesn't doesn't help your cause.
No, and I'm pretty sure too, because I'm pretty sure because he gave me his card and he was like, hey, if you need any recommendations or anything, I'll be glad to give you a recommendation. Never answered the phone when I tried to get a recommendation. And then maybe, years go by. I'm already on the West Coast. I'm already doing comedy. I'm close to the poorest I've ever been. And I remember they called me and they were like, hey, would you be interested in coming back? And I'm talking about like, I really needed the money.
Yeah.
And I was like, coming back. And I was probably going to be making like $32 an hour or something like that.
So decent.
Yeah.
And what year was this?
This was probably 2013 or something.
Okay. So back then, $32 an hour it's still a lot, but it was a lot back then.
Yeah, especially if you don't have a family or nothing, right?
This SD or
no, this was back. I would have had to move back.
Okay.
To Virginia, right? And I'm like, and I'm like, yeah, I'm thinking about it, blah blah blah. And then she just never called me back.
So you would have gone back for it?
I don't think I would have, honestly, but it was definitely tempting. But they didn't give me the option because they were like, let me look into it. My security clearance was still good, or maybe it had expired and they would have to rework it or whatever. But deep down inside, I'm like, they probably talked to him and he was like, fuck him.
What did you end up doing because you were low on money right then?
OnlyFans? No, I'm kidding. I did. No, I was actually. It wasn't that I was low on money. It's just that like I'd gotten to the point where I set my life up so that all I was doing was comedy.
Okay.
I got real lucky. The bartender at the comedy club I worked at, her husband ran another bar, and he loved me, and he hired me to be a bar back there, and basically to work around my schedule, my comedy schedule. So, man, it was back-breaking fucking work. And some bar backs out there busting their ass, bro.
Yeah.
It was back-breaking work, but it was, but I was making enough money to live on, but not much more. Like I wasn't making enough money to save nothing.
Just to get by.
But I was doing comedy, like 5-6 nights a week. And and then one day I got into it with my landlord and I realized like, oh, like you're waiting for the perfect moment to move to LA, because that was the goal. You got to move to LA eventually.
Yeah, you can't go all the way up the ladder in San Diego, right?
Yeah, and I remember like a couple weeks. One time there was this comic in LA named Amir K, and he'd come down. I seen him come down a whole bunch of times, and maybe at this point it had been like a year since I seen him, but he'd come down and he did the show and we used to go out in the parking lot and that's where everybody would gather or whatever. And in the parking lot, man, he walked up to me. He was like, "Hey, bro," he was like, "When you moving?" Like he said it like he was tired of telling me. You know what I mean? Like for real. Like get out of here.
When you gonna start taking it seriously?
Yeah. Like why you here? You've already gotten everything out of here. Why you here? And I was just like, and he was like, "Man, you being a bitch. You scared." I'm like, oh shit. Like he called me out because it was true. I was scared to like go and fail.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm waiting until I got this and got that and got this. And he's like, you ain't gonna never have all that. You know what I'm saying? You could be doing exactly what you're doing now up there. And I'm like, yeah, I guess you're right. And so that's when I was like, I gotta go. I gotta go. Like all the tea leaves are lining up.
That's kind of like a good lesson right there. It's like you can't wait for all the stars to kind of align,
Yeah, you'll be waiting forever.
Yeah. Like it's never gonna be that perfect moment, to like strike.
I know, but also I overcorrected because I didn't actually have a plan. I moved to LA and my plan was just to crash from couch to couch till I figured it out. And that was a terrible plan, right? Because at the time I had like undiagnosed like severe sleep apnea.
Oh, okay.
And I could feel it like weighing on my friend that I was on his couch just fucking shaking the walls every
Just
day.
letting it loose.
Yeah, and one time they like in a roundabout way asked me to leave, and I'm like, yeah, I guess you can't just do this to all your friends. And I left and I went to the VA and I was like, I don't have anywhere to live. Y'all got some programs or something? And they were like, yep. And they directed me to this homeless shelter, and I lived in this shelter for like a year and a half, almost
No
2
way.
years,
While you were doing comedy?
while I was doing comedy.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, I was on the street for like a day before I went to the VA. It was like, hey, this ain't working.
Just winning fast. Just like, let me
Yeah,
figure this out.
because and you know what was funny is like that whole experience really really upped my empathy. I think that made me better at comedy a little bit, because I think like when we think of homeless people as like basically like a separate species. The way people talk about, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And it's like certain stuff you take for granted, just like having all your stuff, and you can't bring your stuff in most places. So it's like, imagine if you needed to just survive out of a bag or two duffels, right? It's like everywhere you go, you got to bring that shit with you, or somebody's gonna steal it, and then you get to places that are like, you can't bring that shit in here, and so what are you gonna do with your stuff?
Yeah.
That was just such a stressful situation. I was like, fuck this.
They didn't let you bring anything in.
No, certain places you couldn't bring like because I had a duffel and two big ass bags, like hands full of
All
like,
your clothes and shit.
yeah, you go to certain places like you can't bring yeah. And so anyway, they directed me to this shelter, and actually I was in a couple of ones, but the one I settled in, I was there for quite some time, and then a couple months after being there, I got a job as a door guy at the Comedy Store, and that let me hit. So there was like levels of privilege in the shelter, and once you got a job, you hit another level of privilege, and then you had to.
So there's it's like a reward system for not just doing nothing.
Exactly. Well, you can't do nothing.
Yeah. To stay.
You know what's funny though? But some people could, and I think it was just because some people had like different problems, like mental problems or whatever. But yeah, you couldn't do nothing, and then you had to get a job, and then the next level was you had to like you had to give them like your first couple of pay stubs, and then they would determine like you need to save 20% of your money for this amount. So when you hit this amount in your savings, then you hit the next level.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It was that kind of thing. It was trying to like get you up out of there.
Like almost kind of getting you set up for the outside world kind of too.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It was that type of thing. Because every people were there for all various different reasons. And this I was basically, because I was this shelter was only for Iraq and Afghanistan veterans, and at the time it was like the best shelter you could be in, like in terms of like cleanliness. I mean, and that's not saying a lot. It was still fucking awful, but it was like you got your own little tiny room. You shared a bathroom with one person, whereas like most shelters it was 3 or 4 people in a room and bunk beds and all this other shit. And so it was just that kind of thing. But I got a job at the store, and so that tied me over for a little while. Then I got fired from the store. And,
What happened?
I overslept, and I was late for like the 3rd time, and they were like wrote me up and was like, yeah, you gotta get up out of here.
What did it do to your psyche to have to go to a shelter? Like, was that just like, you were like, all right, I guess I got to do this because there's no one else to sleep, or did it like really destroy, like, what did that do to you?
At first it was kind of daunting, but I was there was a little bit of delusion there. Like I was fully convinced that all it would take was for the right person to see me, and they would just be enamored with. I mean, that's not how it ever works, but to me it was just inevitable. It was just a matter of time, and I didn't actually start to lose that certainty until I got out of the shelter, but because things did kind of start going down and down and down, because I got fired from the store, and and that was that was kind of terrible because I didn't have a job now, and then I had to make these special arrangements for them to consider like comedy to be my job.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to like prove I was making money, and I had to take extra drug tests and piss tests and all this other shit. And it was one of them things. And then when I had first gotten there, they told you the limit was 2 years. And then when I got there, they changed it to like 9 months. After I had been there for like a year, they were like, actually, the limit's 9 months, and you got to find somewhere to go.
Oh,
if you've been here longer than that, you got to find somewhere to go. It was that kind of thing. Yeah. And so, because a lot of people don't understand, like, it's a business. The homeless shelter game is a business,
and they need room for new customers.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that they need room for new customers, but it's like. It's that different grants have different stipulations, and it's all about bringing in money and spending as little as possible on the actual inhabitants. And people are making, because I'll never forget, like when I first started getting suspicious about it, because the food was shit and the place wasn't clean, and we was always out of cleaning supplies and all this other shit. And then the guy running the place. And oftentimes, people running any place that has a drug rehab or something like that, oftentimes those people are ex-addicts, And the guy running the place fucking relapsed, right? Because I think he confiscated someone's drugs that just happened to be the drug he did, and he was fucked up. Like he was obviously fucked up.
Yeah.
Because obviously you're around a lot of addicts, and they know. When they see another, they're like, oh, what? Oh, this dude. Yeah, it was one of them things. Like they were taking everyone on a field trip or something, and he showed up looking all disheveled. You know what I'm saying? Shirt half tucked in, pants unzipped, look unkept. Talking crazy to people. Move over. Like he was just it was completely not his personality. Anyway, so like to smooth things over, the one of the top execs at this nonprofit that ran this shelter showed up, and this motherfucker pulled up, in a Phantom.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Taylor suit, Rolex. I was like, wait a minute, hold on, motherfucker. You don't look like a volunteer. Yeah. Right? And it was one of them things where I realized, oh, this is big business. And I started doing the math of just what I knew. I started doing the math, and I realized, like, oh, they're making this much per veteran per day. And like I said, that one day I did the math. I realized, like, okay, so they're bringing in this many millions of dollars per year, and then I was like, let me just overpay everybody. So like, let's just say they pay everybody they work here. Let's say they pay everybody make six figures, $100,000, which is not any.
Which they're not,
right?
Yeah.
And even if you do that, there's still like $1.5 million left, and they are not spending that on. Nobody in this motherfucker, but after that incident, all of a sudden they like replaced these old ass mattresses with new like memory foam, and and the meals, like the food quality slightly improved, and we had brand new cleaning supplies, and then they finally came and fixed the internet and all this other. It was a whole situation. But my point is just, at no point in that situation was I like, I made a mistake,
So for you, it truly was just the price of doing business.
Yeah, I mean, I was just convinced, like I said, delusionally though, I was just convinced that like, my big break is coming. Like I just got to keep focused, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't really start getting discouraged till I got out of the shelter, and till it was time for me to leave, and I was trying to find somewhere to live.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it was like the fact that I had been in the shelter made it hard to find somewhere to live.
No.
Really?
Yeah, like because they have these programs where they'll I forget what they call it, but they'll help you like get furniture for your place or pay your security deposit or something like that. So you got to connect them to the landlord. Mm-hmm. And LA got mad slumlords and shit, and so it's like, so they know you were homeless, they know you're a veteran, and so whatever stereotypes they have about veterans, that and they're not allowed to ask you.
Yeah.
But in a roundabout way, they would be like, because they're scared you got PTSD and you're gonna turn into Rambo in your dreams and snap everybody's neck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so you run into a lot of that, and even if it wasn't the veteran stuff, just the homeless stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like they want to make sure you don't have a heroin problem, stuff like that. but they can't directly ask you about it.
So they don't know.
So they'll just say
assume.
no.
Yeah.
Even if you got the money, because I'd gotten a settlement from the VA, and I had the money to put down my own security deposit and everything like that. But they don't give a fuck. They're like,
So what did you end up doing?
I ended up moving in. I ended up getting a place like through a friend, like taking over somebody's room
Oh, okay.
from a different place. But if you're doing that, you're not going to end up in the best situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I didn't give a fuck. I was like, whatever.
Sleep apnea probably bothered them less when you were paying some rent.
Oh well, yeah, but no, that the house I moved in, my room was downstairs and everybody else's room was upstairs.
Okay.
So it wasn't even an issue,
So when you got a job at the store, did you get that job through performing at the store?
Yeah.
And so after you got fired, they just stopped paying you, but they still let you perform?
No, well, when you get fired from the store, I don't know if it's still this way, but when you get fired, you can't come to the store I think you can't come for 3 months and you can't get a spot for 6 months.
Oh shit. So you get banned.
Why is that? Do you know?
Yeah. It's because if getting fired didn't cost you your spots, then you wouldn't give a fuck about getting fired.
So you know that not only do you lose your paycheck, you lose your ability to perform.
Right.
Which is more of a deterrent from fucking around.
Yeah, because the store's just because without the spots, it's just a minimum wage job.
Yeah.
So if losing your spots wasn't part of losing the job, then
That makes sense.
then you'd be like, fuck it, I'll go work at McDonald's and come and then just perform over here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now it's sort of a deterrent to like being like fuck, because you don't lose them forever.
Yeah.
But you're better off quitting. If you get fired, you're banned for 3 months.
Yeah.
And if you can't do spots for 6 months.
So did you just start performing at other places, or?
Yeah, I started just going. I just go up where I could get up. But also my attitude was like, fuck this place. But that's not like I didn't realize how out in the cold it would make me feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what brought you back to the store?
Because at the time, because you got to understand, like the talent people are separate from the management people.
Mm-hmm.
At least it used to be that way. I don't know what it is now. And the talent guy, Adam Egett, the same
Yeah.
guy that.
So Adam was there at the time?
Adam was there at the time, and
Yeah.
he loves me. So and he doesn't give a fuck how good of a door guy you are.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't. If they walk up and say, "Hey, Brian was late again," he'd be like, "I don't give a fuck. Brian's hilarious,
Yeah.
right?" So it wasn't like when I got fired, he stopped fucking with me.
So he was did he ever reach out to you and be like, "Yo, when your time out is over, come back"?
He didn't reach out, but I knew that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even the people that fired me still like me. You
Yeah.
know, it wasn't like that kind of situation. It was always like, yeah, we gotta.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
you don't fucking show up for work. Right? We need someone to work the door.
Exactly.
Yeah. So but I went. But then I got passed at the store.
Mm-hmm.
So I got fired, waited my little 6 months, and then I got passed at the store.
Immediately, or
Not immediately. But it did happen. I don't remember, the timeline's a little fuzzy in my head, but it happened. It probably happened like I think I was banned for 6 months, and then maybe like 6 months after that I got passed.
What is passed? Sorry.
Passed means that now you get paid. You get paid for your spots.
Oh, sick.
So before that, you're doing what they call like
an internship kind of.
Yeah. You're doing what they call first. Well, you're doing development spots at first,
Okay.
and that just means you don't get paid, and you're not getting good spots either. Like you're
going on at 1:30 in the morning.
yeah, or you cold opening, or you going
Yeah.
in not desirable spots, and then sometimes your friends and family, which means that on the open mic nights you can get put in if it's extra time.
Okay.
And then if you're a door guy, you get a couple of extra spots. But then when you're passed, you go back to getting worse spots, but you get paid.
Okay.
Because now you're at the bottom of another tree. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're like climbing the ladder basically.
Yeah, but getting passes is huge.
Yeah.
At that time, because some people get passed like way later in their career when they don't need the money. I don't think it's as impactful in that time, but it means a lot to some people.
For sure.
Still like later on, it means a lot to some people. But it meant a lot to me because it meant money. I mean, I was actually now making money in LA doing comedy, instead of losing
so
money.
dope.
Yeah. It was cool. You get your name and they write your name on the side of the building, which is like it's always
iconic.
It's always gonna be there. Nobody can
Yeah.
take it from you. As far as I know, they haven't erased anybody's name.
Dope.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like the Hall of Fame. It's like we don't count the off the field issues.
Yeah.
It's just were you good enough to get your name in this?
Yes,
wall?
he's right there.
Oh, sick. Hell yeah.
So was that the first time that you like really felt like when you got past it, you were like, I made the right decision. I'm a professional. Or did that come earlier? Or
that's what it was.
Yeah, that's pro ranks.
Yeah, and then I started getting
Oh shit.
I started getting mad frustrated because I wasn't, every time I was in any like competition or something where comedy is the thing that we measuring by, and I always felt like I was doing the best, but it never amounted to nothing. And I was at the point where like I was frustrated and I was about to leave LA. I was going to move to England. That was my
really?
Yeah. I was going to move to London because over there the arts are like a little more appreciated, and you can actually make a living without being super duper famous because they appreciate their artists,
And back then,
At least that's what I heard.
Back then, you wouldn't get arrested for making jokes.
Well, I mean, they wilding right now. You can get arrested for just writing on a sign. Anyway, but that's when just out the blue one day, Tom hits me up, Segura, and he's like, hey man, got your number from Adam. You want to open for me? And I was like, yeah, sure. And he was doing a show at the store in the belly room. I think he was like sharpening his hour or something. And I was like, oh yeah. And I show up and it's him and Christina. And it turns out he popped in on a show that I was on like, a year before that or 6 months before that. And so he watched me before he went up, and he thought I was funny, but he didn't say, well, he said funny to me, but he, and so he just got my number from Adam off that. And we sit in the green room and I'm telling them this story, cause it's like, so who are you? Where you from? Right. And Christina, and when I got to the part where I said, I'm thinking about just moving to England. And Christina was like, no. What the fuck are you talking about? She basically put it in perspective. Like, bro, you've been here for what, 4 or 5 years? You're already past at the store. Do you know how long that takes some people? Like you really feeling yourself. Like, just stay. What are you talking about? Wait. Things are about to start happening. Like, stop acting like a bitch. You know what I mean? Like, just wait. You're doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There.
Oh yeah. Like she was real. She got real motherly.
That's dope.
And she was really right. It was like, oh, you're being arrogant, thinking that because you don't deserve nothing.
Yeah, I mean, in comedy, it's from talking to everybody, it seems like everybody, like the consensus is 4 years in is the equivalent of like 6 weeks. Like you have to be doing it for a long time to like actually get really good. Well,
what it is I think that like in every generation of comedy, there are a handful of people and through different methods that make it quickly.
Yeah.
The outliers.
Yeah, and some people think that that's the norm. You know what I'm saying? Like they see or they think you made it quickly because they never heard of you.
Yeah.
And they don't know you've been grinding for 12, you know what I'm saying? Like they see a Matt Rife to them come out of nowhere and they think he ain't been grinding, like he was just an overnight success. Or they see a Cam Patterson who is new, who did make it, but it's like, but you not him.
Yeah.
His path is different than yours, and it's like everybody ain't gonna just blow up, right?
Yeah.
And I think, but I think it's natural to when you first start to, one, think you're better than you are, and two, be like, okay, so when do I get all the accolades? Because I did the same thing. I moved to LA thinking, oh, it's only a matter, like within a year, I'm gonna have a special.
But you have to be optimistically delusional to go out on a limb and try something.
Oh yeah. You have to be crazy. You have to be a little crazy, and I think people that are self-aware, it's even more than that, because I think when you make that decision to move to Hollywood or New York or or anywhere where you're going to get into the industry, you have to realize that everyone that is talented has made that choice, right? And everyone that thinks they're talented has made that choice. And there's way more of them. So when you get to those moments where it's kind of murky and you're even a little self-aware, you start to question, like, am I one of those people that thinks they're talented, or am I actually talented? It's like, did I make like this? Am I crazy? Because everyone thinks that they got it.
Yeah.
That's why you moved.
Yeah.
But do you really got it, or are you one of these crazy people? Because nobody's going to walk up and tell you.
Well, that's the whole. I mean, that kind of harkens back to the not a damn chance mindset. It's like you have to believe that there's not a damn chance you're not going to work. That it's not going to work out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you're gonna put the hours to make sure there's not a damn chance that it's not gonna work. That it's gonna work out. Like it's about like work ethic and kind of doing everything you need to do to get to where you want to get to.
Yeah, and I also think it's also about perspective, right? Where I think because I go from, like, I believe with every art form there's two tribes. There's people that love the art form and they're concerned about what they can contribute, and there's people that are concerned about what they can extract, right? And that's obviously like a balance. For some people, like, it's a little more than one or the other. But my point is, like, if you're a contribution person, it like for me, it's like you have to be able to define what making it means, right? Because like there's people that are like because to me, making it is just, or whatever level of making it is at is the shit you can say no to. You know what I mean? When you get to the point where you're sustained, making enough living off of what your art is, where you can say no to stuff.
Yeah.
That's, to me, that's making it. Everything past that is, making it further, or like levels to it. But it's like, but some people are like, they're Lance Stevenson and they're mad that they're not LeBron James.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
They don't know where to draw the line.
Yeah, where it's like for some people, it's like, if I'm not Kevin Hart at the end of this, then I failed.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And it's like, I never felt like that. I was like, if I could, my goal from the beginning was just to get to the point where I can make a living off what I love to do, and I have the respect of my peers as far as the craft goes, as far as people knowing that I'm good at this.
but I mean, at that point, Tom Segura reaches out to you to open for him. I mean, that suggests you have the respect of your peers at that point,
Or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even and whether or not you even consider him your peer or your, at that point in your career. So how does that? So was that the first time somebody at that level had like specifically sought you out to like support them?
Yeah. Yeah.
And how did that end up going?
It was awesome. I
sick.
forget we ended up. I think we ended up going to Vegas.
So you did the show with him in the belly room, and then he liked it enough to invite you to go to Vegas with him?
Yeah, but it didn't happen that quickly. I
Sure,
think
sure.
It maybe was like a few months later. I went to end up going to Vegas with him, and that was awesome. And it was like, and I'll never forget that feeling of like, because it gave me a little taste of like, oh, you could get the right here,
Yeah.
And I'll never forget us coming back and him getting picked up by a driver and me getting into a Honda Civic because I called the Uber, and I was like, I'll be back with my driver. You know what I mean? Yeah. It was, and then everything just started happening so fast after that. Like I remember.
Did you feel like he had co-signed you?
I mean,
Like to other people in your group, like for things to like sort of snowball?
oh yeah. I mean, his cosign definitely. I mean, because I don't know what he was saying to people behind the scenes, but
Well, it's doubtful he was talking shit if he's bringing you with him.
right. Yeah. But definitely, yeah. People, that was a good look for sure. And then Adam was also looking out for me because he ended up getting me on Lights Out with David Spade. That was like a talk show, a late night show thing. and he got me on that, and that's what really like made the industry aware
Sick.
of me. You know, and after that, I started, got representation, started getting, meetings and all those things that don't really matter but kind of do matter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then it just all started happening, real fast after that, and then I ended up.
What year was this?
I think it was 2018.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I got the lights out in 2018. Got all this momentum.
And then the pandemic.
Yeah, I mean, but it's so funny. Everybody has the same story. Everybody has a story that ends in and then the pandemic.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right, and so, I wasn't special, and I did. I was on a thing on a big network that was supposed to be like this competition thing. It was supposed to, bring the spotlight and make everybody aware. And I was filming that during the pandemic. I was filming that right before the pandemic, and that got shut down. And I was all fucking sad. I was like, this is my big break, right?
Yeah,
but
yeah.
then I was like, well, if it's meant to be, it'll happen again.
I mean, that's a good outlook. It's a good, healthy sort of mentality of way of like looking at things, because it's very easy to just get really upset and feel like things are against you versus just like, man, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because that's the thing is like, being poor sucks, but I could be poor again. I feel worse for people that were born with everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they like. That's why people. There's people that jump off a building when the stock market crashed.
Yeah.
And then, but it's like I know I could survive.
Yeah, you've been through it before.
Yeah. Even though I don't want to go back for sure.
Of course.
But I still don't. I've made it. That's the point I'm trying to make. It's like.
But I think, and again, the reason that we wanted to have you on is because you have made it, but you've made it in a way that a lot of people would have turned around. They would have said, you know what, I'm not going to go into the shelter. Instead, I'm going to go. I know I can make $32 an hour. Maybe not that job, but if somebody will pay me 32, someone will pay me 20.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And so, like, to me, that requires a very specific either
retardation.
Retardation is sure. It requires like an undying belief in yourself.
Yeah. Confidence.
Because otherwise, you're like I mean, I've never been faced with like. I mean, I slept on couches before when I was younger, but I never faced homelessness to pursue the career that I wanted. And without actually ever doing that, I don't know what decision I would make. Like if you had to live in a shelter to skate for a living, would you go another route? It's hard to say without actually physically being in that situation.
Yeah, that's a difficult one for sure.
I feel like most skaters would though.
Well, we kind of
You kind of did.
Yeah. I feel like most. I don't know if Neen is the only skater but.
Well, I mean, like growing up, I mean, we did a lot of like what you did in the beginning, where it was like we just went out to California and then just stayed on friends' couches.
But
that's how we lived.
But see, like when I was touring in bands, I was living on couches, I was living in a van, I was sleeping on people's floors. But that is a little bit different than saying I'm going to buckle down for a full calendar year at a shelter.
But also, it's also different in your 20s, right?
Yeah.
In your 20s. You're invincible and you don't think, you're not thinking like this sucks. You're thinking I get to skate.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But it starts to kind of weigh on you when you're in your 30s.
Yeah.
And you still got roommates and you still, and
For sure.
people are, your mama can't brag about you.
Mm-hmm.
And it starts to weigh on you a little bit. Cause like I couldn't, but honestly, man, what motivates me really is like my biggest fear is working under someone I don't respect. And that it ends up happening at every job.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Every job I've ever had, the best it's ever going to be is the first day. You know, not really the first day, but
Because
like,
you don't know, you don't respect them yet.
no, but like the first day to the point where you kind of know how to do your job.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the best times. No, what I'm saying is like every institution just gets worse over time. Like every time management changes and every time, like every job you've ever had, you get there and the people that have been there for a long time got a story about how something used to be better.
Yeah.
You know, and then if you stay there long enough, you gonna have stories about, oh, man, we used to do this way
Back
better.
in my day.
Right, and so it's like every job I've ever had gets worse,
Interesting.
and eventually you get stuck under a tyrant or passed over for promotion or whatever. And but working for somebody I hate,
How much did that ideology inform your decision making into doing comedy? Did it weigh into it at all?
Oh yeah. I mean, that's what made it easy to not try to stay in the field I was in. Of just like you said, I could have went and got another job doing something else that's similar, but I just hated the thought of it.
You want to work for yourself.
Yeah, it's like I respect. You know, there's nothing wrong with having a job or having a 9-to-5, but my mind is just not built to like enjoy it. I think most people aren't. You know, but I was in a service with like farm boys and Mormons and shit that loved working. Like they loved it.
Yeah.
They just they would. I had this one staff sergeant, I forget his name, but he was one of them dudes that was like raised on a farm, and he would eat his lunch standing up and then go right back to work. You know, like we got a half an hour, or we got an hour for lunch. He finishes his lunch in 10 minutes and go back to work.
Damn.
Because some people love that, you know, and I just don't. You know what I'm saying? The thing is, I always needed a purpose to my work for me to enjoy it, you know?
Yeah.
And it's very few jobs that give you that feeling.
So from the time that you're now 2018 up until the pandemic, and you felt like things were building and building, did you consider, like, with taking the time off during the pandemic, were you contemplating doing something else, or what? Like, how did that impact you?
I didn't take time off during the pandemic.
You didn't?
No. I mean, I was definitely doing comedy way less, but we tried to work around it as much as we could. Like I remember, obviously I took all the time off that like when we were like absolutely
when you
forced
had lockdown.
Shut down. Yeah.
But I remember at the store, and this is part of the reason why I ended up moving here, because I remember the store was trying their best to keep the shit open, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember there was a restaurant about a block away from the store called the Saddle Ranch, and they turned their parking lot into like dining area, and they had up like plexiglass between the tables, and the store was like, bet. And they did the same thing. They turned this shit into a parking lot, put up plexiglass, and the city was like, no live performances, you see, because you're on stage projecting out onto a group of people that's gonna spread the disease, right? And it's like, that's gonna spread the disease more than a waiter going from table to table to table, because the plexiglass is pointless, but whatever. And so instead, they put a screens out in the parking lot, and the comic performed inside.
Oh wow.
Really?
And they projected the screen, and the city still said no.
Wow.
No. Can't do that. Shut it down. So then they did, I don't know if you've ever been to the Comedy Store, but like the main room, if you're out on the patio where the bar is, you can see the original room. There's glass there, and if they open the curtain, you can see the comic on stage up there, right? So what they did was they turned the comic around. You performed
to a window?
Through the window to the people out on the patio, right? And because of the way the sound system was set up, it was like you couldn't hear them, right? So they had to put a directional mic out there. For whatever reason, they couldn't just like mic up the whole audience so the comic could get like feedback, because it's very weird performing for people that you can see laugh but you can't hear them.
The silence. Yeah.
Yeah. So for whatever reason, they was only able to set up a directional mic. I think it was like a feedback thing. Like if they had set up a whole sound system, it would be some kind of weird loop.
Yeah.
So, but every now and then, like the wind would blow and the mic would just be like pointed at the street, and you would just hear cars braking instead of applaud, and that's what people did. And I think even at one point the city shut that down.
Oh wow.
So and it was just so frustrating that, at that point, especially because everything was open. Like they were letting the restaurants serve people, but we couldn't do comedy even outside.
Mm-hmm.
For a while. I mean, that's how I ended up here. They shut down outdoor dining.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
okay. I didn't know they shut it down.
Yeah, so December of 2020, they said outdoor dining was too dangerous.
Yeah, and you could only do pickup, but then you couldn't hang out with anybody, your neighbors or anything. There was like snitch on your neighbor or something.
Well, it was the first. It was like the only time I've ever Instagram lived being angry at a situation. I was at LAX, coming to Austin to try to find a place that would let us do a pop up, because the entire state of California said no more indoor or outdoor dining. And I get to LAX, and all of the restaurants inside of LAX indoors are open, and you could sit there without a mask and eat. And most people don't know this, but I did, because I had talked with them about putting a restaurant in there before. All of those restaurants are owned and operated by the city and the state. So I'm not political. I never questioned should we be open, should we not? Whatever. Close, open, stand on one foot, fine. At one point we're cooking, looking like underwater fucking welding technicians.
Mm-hmm.
In between plexiglass, I'm handing you sushi under a plex like you're at a fucking bank teller. We did everything. Okay, not open. We'll go to another state. Not a problem. But then the city has their restaurants open indoors, and we can't be open outdoors. And that's the first and only time I was like, fuck that. And then that's how I ended up in Austin.
Oh yeah. Also, you're at the airport to pile into a metal tube where they claim that they doing all these extra cleaning procedures, and then you look between the seats and you're like, nobody cleaned it. And so it's like it was to the extent that it was all performative. I think that's what was frustrating. Right? It's like and you got the governor having dinner parties for fundraisers and
that didn't. But I understand. So I have several hundred employees, and I understand that like what I personally do with a group of 3 people, sometimes you can't have everybody do that. I understand at least the idea behind it.
Right.
But I didn't understand it's dangerous. People will die if you feed them outside. But if I feed them inside for profit, everyone's fine.
Exactly.
That I could not fucking get down with.
The hypocrisy.
But like 7 or 8 people having dinner at the French Laundry, that doesn't fucking bother me. It didn't. So many people freaked out about it. But I was like, to me, that wasn't even hypocritical to me.
No.
Nah. I mean, he was never supposed to get caught, right? That wasn't the idea, was to keep it a secret. But like, what is good for 25 million people, there's going to be a different set of rules. If there's only 7 people who lived in California, they probably would let you go to have a restaurant.
Yeah, but the problem is everyone thought like that. Because here's my other thing is, so many of my friends, or so many people I knew, were actively on Twitter shitting on people for not following all the rules, and then they are having like gatherings where so it's like you
see, that's hypocritical.
You always set the line right where you're okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
we're like, because no one was following 100% of the rules. At least that's not true. But the handful of people I knew that followed every single rule every single day, they lost their minds. They're all crazy now.
Yeah,
right. So nobody was following all the rules, but it was like, but also people couldn't accept as soon as the rules you set for you were below the rules they set for themselves. So they would be like, how dare you gather with 10 people, and then they would gather with 5. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it was like, I don't know, it all just seemed very performative. But like you said, the hypocrisy wasn't really the issue, but it was just like, the constant, the inconsistency of why is this place open and we're not open? Or we don't even serve food. We can't tell jokes. In a parking lot, I can't tell jokes from inside and broadcast it to the parking lot.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like, this is fucking crazy. It was kind of over the top for me. And so anyway.
So how did you end up? Because when we met, I think you were just visiting, right?
Yeah, I was just visiting because I didn't move immediately, but I
Yeah.
started. I started. You know, I was still in LA when it opened back up. When it started opening back up a little bit. But at that point, I was I was coming down here to visit, and it just got to the point where I had just started to. I just found out I was gonna get my half hour on Netflix, and when I got that first check, and I looked up, I'm like, I still got roommates, and it's so expensive here that ain't gonna change, And every time I go down to Austin, that's where my homies are. It's cheaper. I have a good time. I get spots, and I'm like, it just don't make sense for me to, I was basically on the road so much because remember when COVID ended, like the comedy boomed, like it was everywhere. And I was on the road so much, and I was only coming back to LA for a day or two, and blah blah blah. And I just was always coming back to a situation that I didn't like.
Yeah.
And then every time I came down here, it was like I had a great time. And I was like, it doesn't make sense. Well, I'm gone most of the time, and when I come home, where am I trying to come home to? And it just didn't make sense. So I was like, yeah, why not? Why not come down here? And I probably had been visiting for like a year and a half.
Was it that long before you moved here?
Yeah. It was about a year and a half, and then finally, because I kept saying, I'm gonna come, I won't come, I'm gonna come.
I guess I just saw you all the time, so I just assumed you moved here at some point. Well, I guess at some point you did, but a year and a half seems like. So when did you move here? Because we met. When did we meet?
I think we met in
2021.
2021.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 2021. So I moved here in
22.
22.
Damn.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you about. So the first night that we hung out, I took him to Golden Tiger.
Oh, sick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Golden Tiger.
And after a show at Creek in the Cave, I think, and you were showing me on your phone like your notes.
Oh yeah.
And I had never seen anyone write that way. Where did that come from? Because I thought that was like the most like how like organized and how like thorough and thoughtful. I was like, this is like has to be like the guy who's like ex-computer technician. Like
Well, what kind of notes were these?
I was using Evernote at the time, and basically I was just showing him how I have everything broken down between like just loose ideas and jokes that work and jokes that don't work or jokes that don't have legs.
it was like a filing cabinet.
But it was
though.
all just
yeah.
And then A material, and I'm not as good about it as I used to be, like as disciplined, but it's just a way for me. It's only because I'm such a disorganized person.
It didn't seem that way.
I know, but I'm saying like if I don't do that, it gets
Very disorganized.
lost.
yeah. Because I'd like to be meticulous, and I'm gonna tell you what really like made me step up being locked in on like the meticulousness is when the first time I met Hassan Minaj, and I was opening for him at the club in San Diego, and and I walk in the green room, and he's like he's got like a composition book and then another notebook, and things are like highlighted and flashcards and all this shit. And I'm like, what are you doing? and he broke it down just a little bit. He was like, oh, well, this is over here, and I'm thinking about moving that in the middle, blah, blah, blah. And it was all like very visual for him. And I was like, and literally like maybe, I don't know, maybe 3 months later, he was on the Daily Show, or he gotten the thing for that. And I was like, yeah, it's no surprise at all. Because I had never heard of him before that. I didn't know nothing about him at all. And then I seen him that one time, and then the next time I heard from him, he was going on the Daily Show, and I was like, yeah, that makes perfect sense. Because he's got a system. Because here's the thing, I learned that like you need a way to obsess, because that beats back the feeling that nothing's happening. You know what I mean?
So when you're sitting down doing the work, building the files, ranking them, because he was like ranking like how well the jokes would do, and they'd go into a different filing cabinet, and like, so that inspired it. But did anybody did you just develop that whole system yourself?
Oh yeah, for sure. And the thing is, I don't think that anyone has to do it like I do. Like, I didn't do it like he did, but it was like, but you have to have some way of doing. You have to have some, because let me put it a different way. Most of the work is off stage. You know what I mean? And the people that don't realize that, are the ones that have the slowest progress. It's like, you have to record yourself. You have to listen to the recordings or watch the recordings. You have to write. You have to literally write. You have to physically write. You have to rewrite. You know what I mean? All of that is the work.
Yeah.
That's like part of the work. The on stage work is obviously the key piece. But most of the work is off stage.
But if all your prep is done properly, then it's just about going out there and having fun.
Yeah, well, I like to be constantly working on ideas because I'm so afraid I'm gonna run out. And so because it's been a while now since I've had a good one. And especially I think the better you get, the
a good what? A good joke?
Yeah, since I had a good new one.
I think there's a rule thing with even art, if you're drawing stuff, if you draw for an hour a day, as that accumulates over the weeks, you just start getting better and better, and then ideas and creativity starts to flow as well.
Oh yeah, I write every day.
Yeah,
but I just think the longer you do it, the more discerning you are. So the more of the stuff you make, it's trash sooner. Or you think it's and so you get more discerning with your own stuff. Because I've written them every day for years.
Yeah.
But I used to
like all of them.
I used to write every day and be like, oh man, I'm getting 2 or 3 ideas a day. and now, man, I can literally go months without having any idea that I'm like, that's worth trying.
You're just more more advanced now, more experienced.
And I think it's harder now to be original. It's harder to, because a lot of times it's even if it's not a good joke, or sometimes it's a good joke when you high, and then you sober up and it doesn't even make sense, or sometimes it's a good idea, but someone else has already kind of covered the subject or taken that angle.
That must be hard too, to know what all has been said, right?
Oh yeah, I mean we're well past the gold rush days of comedy. I think of it like that, where it was in the 70s and 80s, and even to some degree the 90s, it was like the gold rush, where you could just step into the river and dip a pan in and pull up gold. And now it's like that. Now it's just water, and you need spectrometers and shit to scan scan the dirt to see if it's a gold deposit down there. It's like that. It's we used to be able to show up and be like, oh fuck, and people were like, oh, he said fuck, and now that means nothing, right? And so it's you gotta, Take My Wife Please used to be a banger, and now it's nobody would even laugh at that. So it's you have to me anyway, because don't get me wrong, some people don't have any shame, and I think we've talked about this before. Is if one bucket is talent and one bucket is lack of shame, right? And then this bucket in the middle is empty and this is success. Well, you can fill this bucket up with either thing. You understand what I'm saying? And for some people, it's a mixture of the two, where it's you have just enough talent and you got to swallow your pride a little bit to have success. And some people have no talent but they also have no shame, and they'll literally do anything to make it, and they'll still make it. A person with no shame will make it before a person with talent. With a little talent, but won't swallow their pride. You know what I mean? And so I don't know why I said all that.
Well, using your own analogy, in your middle bucket, what is it?
It's all talent, baby.
That's right.
No, I'm gonna say it's probably like 95% talent, 90%.
I was gonna say I think 90-10 or 95-5 is where you want to be because you can't.
Maybe like 85. Because the thing is, like you said, if you really gonna make it in the business, you have to be able to tolerate people that you don't like to some degree. Yeah. But you don't have to suck a dick. I don't know why people think that. You know what always irritates me about that narrative? That like, if you make, because some people go, well, I didn't make it because I didn't suck a dick. And it's like, it's so arrogant of you to think that your first dick suck will change your life. You would still be bad at sucking dick. Like you being willing to suck a dick isn't the barrier to your success. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying there aren't people that suck dick in Hollywood to make it. I'm saying that's not their first time. They've been sucking dick. They weren't like pressured and it was like, oh, all right. And you think your first blowjob is gonna give you a career. It's not true.
Is this a new bit you're working on?
No.
You should be. It's a good one.
Okay.
It's a good premise.
But it's true. It's just the truth. It's like everybody that made it didn't, because the idea.
But some people did.
Some people did. But the idea is that you would have if you were willing. And it's like, I don't know if that's true, sir.
One way to find out. That's the first time I've made them laugh.
Oh yeah, yeah. I bet you there's plenty of people that have tried that have sucked the dick and didn't get nothing.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, now that's where you don't want to be. Yeah. Be happy for that guy that sucked the dick and made it.
You got to have the no shame, and you got to have a little bit of talent. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit of talent. Yeah, that way. Then you only have to put it close to your face. You got enough talent. You know what I mean?
So,
is this a family show? I'm sorry.
It was for the first hour.
Okay.
That still is. It's still kids should know that you don't have to suck dick
to
exactly.
make it. They're going to recommend this right after Baby Shark on YouTube.
Okay, so after like a year and a half of like coming out here, you move to Austin. You make the move.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel like the whole like where you are in your career today? I mean, you put out a special, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was that your first special?
Live from the Mothership.
That's
Still
right.
Streaming on Netflix.
That's
Netflix,
right.
Yeah.
That's your because you had done like I saw when we because I think I told you this. I had seen you twice before I actually met you.
I didn't know that.
But that was, and then I had seen like your spot on the Netflix thing where it was like you and was Mark Norman on that too.
Mm-hmm.
I had seen that, but then this was your first like your special, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was awesome. That was a lot going on. I had because people don't know this at the time. I didn't know this at the time, but I had acute pancreatitis
while you were performing.
Yeah, which was like a inflamed pancreas.
Interesting.
And I was in a lot of pain.
Oh shit!
But I didn't know that. See, the thing is, it was coming up to the special. I'd already spent so much money to like make it happen, and the VA has like a telenurse.
Mm-hmm.
So if you call the nurse on the phone, and you tell them your symptoms, and they tell you to go to the emergency room, then the VA pays for it.
Ah.
You know.
So you always call them first.
Always call them first because I mean, not that they won't pay for it anyway, but it's like, but if they tell you to go, there's no dispute. So the telenurse was like, yeah, you need to go to urgent care or whatever, and I was like, and that was like 4 days before I shot the special. And my fear was like, well, if I go to the emergency room and it's something real serious, then they're not gonna let me leave.
You're stuck in there,
Yeah, and then I'm out, however much it costs to fucking film the special. I'm out of that, and I can't afford to redo it. Like, I can't like fly everybody back out here and set everything back up again, because that money's gone.
Yeah.
And so I just was like, you know what I mean? We just gonna take these pain meds and get through this motherfucker.
Oh, really? So you held out for like a week?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I held out for a week. Yeah.
And then you found out it's acute pancreatitis?
Yeah.
How long?
And what's funny about that is, to celebrate the special, we went out, we went out to sushi and sake and all this other shit, and then come to find out like that was the worst like alcohol and fat and fatty foods
Yeah.
is the worst thing.
thing.
Yeah, so I just made it way worse. You know, because I was out celebrating for a few days. I was like, oh.
And they have to remove it.
No, they have to. Thank God, no, they have to remove it. They're just like you just have to stop. I just had to, I took a little bit of meds. It ended up being like, at least in my theory, I think it was an adverse reaction from not Ozempic, but basically Ozempic was called Mounjaro or whatever. But it's the same thing. What they call it, an LP1 inhibitor.
GLP-1.
Yeah. So it was I was in the 1% of people that had a bad reaction to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just had to lay off.
Oh, so it was just they said stop doing that thing and it will heal itself, basically.
Yeah, I had to stop drinking. I stopped drinking and stop eating fatty foods for like 8-9 months.
And then you went back to it.
No, I mean now I just within reason,
Yeah.
but I was really out of pocket for a while, especially because when I just moved here and just started making good money, and, it's like you want to have a steak, you want to have your sushi, but you can't eat like that.
All day, every day, right?
Nah. That's why kings and queens was always dropping. That's why remember they called gout the king's disease because you couldn't get gout as a peasant.
No, you couldn't.
Yeah, so I was like, you gotta do it all within reason. This is something I'm realizing now is you can't be if you're gonna be your own run your own business, you can't be a shitty boss and a shitty employee. You got you know what I'm saying? You gotta try to be good at one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's nobody that's gonna come and tell you, hey, don't do that. Or,
Yeah.
You can like we started out earlier, you can always lie to yourself. You can always bullshit yourself. And so I just had to start just giving myself some structure as much as possible, because it's just so easy to not go. Imagine if whatever job you had, you could just sleep in whenever you wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not work out, not take care of yourself.
Well, both of us have jobs that we could just do whatever we wanted.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, y'all, because both of y'all also have hot wives, and I think that you get a lot of motivation from. No, seriously, both of y'all have beautiful wives, and you get a lot of motivation from that. That's something I didn't really calculate when I was like, I never want to get married. But it's like, yeah, but if you get married to a hot woman that make you want to stay on top of shit, I think that's valuable.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's
sure.
necessarily what made me because I lost. I'm down 40 pounds from where I was maybe when I first met you.
Yeah, when I first met you, you was wearing the Whoop.
Yeah,
Man.
I had just put on the Whoop, and I was literally, I'm under 40 now, but I was just at 40 pounds. Last week, it took me 3-4 years to do it, but I didn't get in shape for my wife. I got in shape for my daughter.
Cut that out. Don't let his wife see that.
Well, she knows. I mean, when we found out she was pregnant, it was that's when I started getting blood tests and started and right around that time I met Brigham and I started getting it, and I'm like, I need to be here for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean,
Longevity.
That's very optimistic. See, I don't plan on being here that long.
well, I gotta be here.
I know. Yeah, you got kids. That's why I'm not having them.
People that
No,
depend on you.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait until I get the wrong news, and then I'm just gonna go all in. I'm cashing everything out.
Going all in.
I'm going all in. I'm cashing everything out. I'm doing every drug. You know what I'm saying? No condoms. I'm just wilding. I'm gonna go see the world. I'm gonna wait till I get some kind of weird diagnosis, and then I'm like everything.
Out.
Cashing all the bonds, 401k.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then just go out blazing.
that is one way to do it,
Yeah.
and it's a lot better to do it that way if you don't have kids.
Yeah, I'm 43 now. I say 60 tops.
All right. Well,
And
I mean, you still got a good run.
Yeah,
good run. Yeah,
and
17.
I'm about of here. At 60, I ain't going out like Ozzy. I'm going out like Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Are you not still doing the working out with Joe and everybody?
No, that was never gonna last. Cause I can't.
Keep up with them?
No, what? No. It's just I just can't be on somebody else's schedule.
Yeah, you got to do it on your own.
None of us can't. Like my schedule is too random. You know, and it started making it feel like
It's like a chore because you
Right.
have to show up at this.
But I mean, you
time
got to put
for
it just
people.
like, I mean, well, that's the thing is what are you motivated to do? So like you had to put in the work and the discipline to do comedy because that's what you wanted to do. And so it's not until like, cause like I didn't want to get in shape until one day I wanted to get in shape. And then it required the discipline. It required cause I didn't like it.
But you had a baby. That's what you said.
I got the motivation.
So the step one is I gotta go bust some raw nuts. That's what you said. That's the lesson I'm learning from your story. Go start doing it raw, right? And then
Find a hot wife first. That's step
oh,
one.
right, fuck,
Step
damn,
one.
Goddamn. Okay, see,
And then
and now it's all lost again.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, it has to be something that you have to like adopt it into like your daily routine.
Exactly.
Like it has to be something like, eating food or, whatever, drinking water. It just has to be something that you do at some point of the day. But I know what you mean. It's like having to meet up with someone at a certain time every day or a couple times a week. It's hard. And especially being on the road and touring and stuff, it's like you have to have it in your kind of back pocket of like
Right. Like wherever you go, the routine is with you.
the routine
It's
is
not-
there. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Like you either wake up and do it or it's like a midday or a nighttime thing. It's just
but I'm also down 40 pounds
that's great.
since the
dude.
time since when I met
Congratulations,
you.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, you look great.
It's just that I was so fat when I met you that you can't tell.
You look solid, bro.
And that was pre-bad bitch and baby. Wait till I get me. Wait till I get Kiki Palmer in my life.
So we always wrap up with one question. Same question.
No burger, just question.
Yeah,
Where are the
were they out of burgers?
No, they're here. They're in the kitchen.
Okay.
I guess Daddy Zolo doesn't want us eating
Yeah.
on camera.
No, that's why it's not a damn chance. Because when you ask if you can have a burger, that's what their response is.
So to wrap it up, last question, or I guess first real question. Are you still laughing over there?
These guys.
So we always finish up with the same question. That is, magic lamp on the table. You rub it, genie comes out, cast you one wish. Stipulated that one wish is to design what your life looks like 10 years from now. Go.
So I can't wish for more wishes.
Well, you have. I mean, you get to design the entire life. So, I mean, as many wishes as you need inside of that, because you can wish for a hot wife and a kid, and that still counts.
Oh well, I would if I, but my life can be any way I want.
You get to design your entire utopian existence.
Oh,
Like, where are you? What are you doing? What's life look like 10 years?
I am the perfect being, and I'm the only person on earth until I desire companionship, and then people pop in and out of existence based on my personal needs.
Yes.
Is that not okay?
We'll accept it.
All right.
He wants a burger so goddamn bad. He gives us a six word answer.
I love that.
No, that's the true answer though.
No, I believe you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like,
Oh, and bring back strawberry milk. I don't know what happened to that,
A Nesquik one or what?
or just whatever. Like, why isn't it available in more places? It used to be everywhere.
Yeah, huh? It is not available.
I don't think I've ever had strawberry milk.
Really?
I don't like milk. I never had like chocolate milk. I never got into any of that.
Well, I mean, I don't really like milk either, but I those flavors are nostalgic. You never had no Nestle Quick,
No,
no Ovaltine,
no. But I mean, I like a strawberry shake. I guess it's kind of like strawberry milk.
no,
right?
no,
No?
That's a strawberry. That's a strawberry. That's closer to ice cream than milk.
Yeah, but that's basically frozen milk
Okay, sure.
with like artificial strawberry flavorings.
I think it's actually frozen cream. That's in the name. It's ice cream.
I was trying to, keep it simple. For
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're the. I'm sitting there arguing with the Michelin star over here.
It's like,
It's actually a
listen
custard.
here.
If we want to get super technical,
Yeah.
we'll have to bring Margarita in here. But, dude, thank you so much for being here.
Okay.
Really appreciate you. The story, I mean, I hope it's not lost on you. Your story is incredibly inspiring.
Yeah, man.
Like, it's really moving, like, the idea of, like, actually having to go through real hardships as the path forward. And I think most people would have turned around. I think really most people would. So you should be very, very proud of yourself.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, man. You crushed it.
Appreciate it.
Now let's go eat those burgers.
Let's do it.
That's a wrap on today's episode. Hit subscribe now if you want to follow along. We have some awesome guests lined up that we sit down with. Make sure you follow the Not a Damn Chance podcast on socials at NADC Podcast. We'll see you next week.